I take from zero to hero and from 1 million to hundreds of millions of revenue, usually within a couple of years. I'm expert at leading remote teams before it was cool. The move to video is an undeniable fact. Video is not going anywhere. Our evolution has basically stopped. Just do things fast, and then you meticulously analyze what works and what not, and change your course.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Devico Breakfast Bar. Here we speak with different people involved in the business landscape, share their expertise, delve into the latest tech trends, and explore the ins and outs of IT outsourcing. I'm Oleg Sadikov, and today I'm excited to have Elia Elenius, the CEO of VideoBot, a rapidly expanding marketing technology firm on an explosive growth trajectory. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss new episode. Hi, Elia. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Oleg. Pleasure to be here.
Could you start by telling us a bit about yourself and your professional background?
Sure. I jokingly describe myself as a nerd who never learned to code properly. So there's a backstory to it. I was a huge Babylon 5 nerd when I was a kid. So I taught myself some HTML and coded a Babylon 5 website. And then my friend suggested me to insert banners there. And you have to remember, this was like the end of 90s. Making money online or digital advertisement wasn't really a thing yet. Nobody really knew about it. So this is maybe to the younger audiences, an okay boomer moment. But that's how it was. So I never placed those banners because I was like, this is total joke. But he did place banners on his own website. And they actually sent him a paper check from the USA back into Finland. And he went to cash that paper check in the bank. And you have to laugh at the moment when the bank teller sees a kid is coming cash a check out. But basically, that was the moment when I got intrigued about, okay, maybe this internet is not just a playground for hobbies and chatting with your friends on the IRC, what I was spending most of my days with. Maybe there's a business aspect to it. Maybe you can make money out of it. It really propelled me to the tech world, not as a coder, but as a business person. So I built my career at early stage growth companies. That's my jam. So I take from zero to hero and from 1 million to hundreds of millions of revenue, usually within a couple of years. And also now after COVID, I've noticed that I'm expert at leading remote teams before it was cool. So I've led remote teams since 2016. And after COVID, many companies are interested how to build this kind of a remote working culture and processes. I would say I'm an expert in that as well.
Despite not having a strong coding background, you have made a significant impact in the tech industry. How did you leverage your skills to succeed in this field?
Tech business always needs people who think systemically. I'm a systems thinker. So in my opinion, the chief operating officer needs to be what? Heavily, especially in the early and growth stages where resources are scarce. So you need to be a multi-talent. So you deeply need to understand technology, what it can do at a certain point in time and what not. So, like I say, I'm a nerd who never learned to code, but I do understand technology and its capabilities. Then you need to have this kind of analytical view, have a vision where the markets are going, ability to deep dive into individual pain points of clients, but also things in patterns, analyze data. Then, very important, we are a marketing technology company. It's a regulatory environment, so GDPRs and such, also security-wise. So you need to understand the regulatory and security environment. Believe it, that's hugely important. But I would say, lastly, but certainly this might be the most important part here, you always need to work through people. You have 2 ears, 1 mouth. So listen to your team, remove obstacles, and help them to win each and every day.
And where are markets going now?
The move to video is an undeniable fact. So we are constantly socialized to consume more video content across all these different social media platforms. It started with basically Snapchat, but it didn't break through yet. Instagram brought those, but when TikTok really brought it to the table, everything else followed. And if you go, for example, Instagram nowadays, it pushes the reels out. If you post a picture nowadays, you don't get many likes, you don't get much visibility. So this is the preferred customer experience, or kind of the medium how we consume information online these days. And it's extremely actually natural. If you think about it, we used text because basically the internet bandwidth wasn't fast enough to cater video, HD quality video. Now it is 4G coverage is over 90% of the world's population. We have super sharp HD screens in our pockets. So the video consumption, because it's natural for us, that's how evolution made us. Video mimics the reality the best. Text was an innovation 5,000 years old, okay? It's totally symbolic. But if you think our eyes and ears and how we consume in nanoseconds, in microseconds, we subconsciously process the visual information. This what we are doing here. This is second best to the real world. If I would meet you all like in the real world, obviously that would be the best. But directly after this video conversation, that's the most natural way for us. So obviously now that technological megatrends are there, the internet bandwidth, HD cameras that we have on our phone, the big screens, it's a precursor for this move to video. And we can see it will come more and more prevalent also now on the own channels. So on business websites, on their apps, with similar customer experience that we are primed and socialized to consume content already on all these other platforms. That's where we are headed. That's how we see the world.
VideoBot is known for its rapid expansion. What do you believe are critical factors behind this growth?
That's a great question. First is the market. Like basically I already told, there is a clear demand for modernizing customer journeys throughout all the touch points in this video-centric era. So there hasn't been an out-of-the-box solution out there that has fast time to value. You would need to code those in-house and pay hundreds of thousands, and then there are all kinds of groups and specialized skills that you need to understand, like the regulation and so forth. It's not so straightforward. So from us, you can get that. There's a clear gap. That's the first behind our rapid expansion. The market is just craving for it. If it would be a physical product, the inventory would be constantly sold out. The second is sales. We are a sales-led go-to-market strategy. That's our approach. It's faster than, let's say, marketing-led, because we are creating a new category. People don't necessarily realize yet what is going on. So you need to teach people to make them realize that the world has changed. It used to be text, and now it's video. Our solution you can get out of the box. But what sales actually is, it's an interview. With marketing-led growth or product-led growth, you don't have that close-knit interaction with the client. So essentially, if you have 100 sales meetings per week, you have 100 interviews per week to understand what the client needs and learn from it, develop your product to match more of the market need, exact use cases, what they have. There's a clear gap, but also sales-led. You understand quickly, learn quickly, and develop fast those features, functionalities that the clients are wanting and paying for.
Oh, okay. Now it's video consumption. It's going now, but what will be the next step?
What is more natural for us than this audiovisual information? I mean, there isn't one. Or, hey, Elon Musk is creating a Neuralink. So you and me are about that age that we watched the Matrix movie, and it was really cool. So there you plug the cord in your head and upload the kung fu skills. Will that ever happen? Maybe. The Musk's Neuralink, it came a couple of months ago that you could move a mouse, a paralyzed person. But will that actually ever happen? Maybe 50 years, 100 years, I don't know, maybe. But before that, actually, how do we take information into our brains? How do we process it? It's this over here, these two eyes, and these 2 ears over here. That's the way we take information. So obviously the next stage can be more rapid, more responsive, more dynamic video content, but the medium will be video. And again, if it would be virtual reality, what that would essentially is also a video. It's only 360 video. Video is not going anywhere. Our evolution has basically stopped. Okay, biohacking, all this science fiction stuff, but we are what we are, have been for hundreds of thousands for years. That's not going to change. So video is there. It will be there.
How do you balance the operational demands of a fast-growing company with the need for strategic planning?
Yeah, very essence of every company. My approach, execution is strategy for breakfast. Strategy comes from learnings. And where do the learnings come from? They come from action. And that propels the strategy. Too often I see, and I've seen these cases, I've been a consultant and an advisor for early stage companies. They hone their go-to-market and strategy until the end, and they take very little action that would actually accumulate learning. So this is the first thing. You just do things fast, and then you meticulously analyze what works and what not, and change your course. For instance, let's say in 2 years, 1 year, whatever, when this category that we are creating here is more well known and people understand it, and maybe they can seek it on their own. Maybe it makes sense to make a more marketing-led or even product-led growth, which has less human touch. But in the meanwhile, you look at the data, but also then I would say, if we call it the core fundamentals, what business really are. There are 2 layers on any business architecture. There are systems, which involves technologies and processes, and then there are people. The systems need to be seamlessly integrated. The data needs to flow. You need to measure the right things. And based on the data, are you meeting your OKRs and KPIs? Then there's the people layer. They need to be aligned across departments. You don't want silos. For example, we have a RevOps team. We have department heads there from marketing, sales, CS, and engineering. That we formulate a common understanding where we are. We look at the data together. All the data flows, and nobody has their own data. It has centralized data. And from this, we go forward. So that's the more fundamental layer. These 2 needs to be tightly aligned. Avoid silos until the end. Never, ever go into the silos. That will kill you.
Okay. What are some current trends in the marketing technology sector that you find particularly exciting?
Very good question. So I see a couple of trends here. First, one of the big mega trends is that the behavior on B2B side starts to emulate what we do on the B2C side. So the B2C side has been like you can buy online directly and order home. And this has been quite some time. And because the scale is bigger in the B2C, also these automation tools and personalization tools are implemented into the customer journeys. But we already see this big megatrend because as we grow older, you and me, I'm guessing we are about the same age. We are this online generation that are used to this. So now when we are going to the working life, and Gen Z is even more so that are coming behind us, they're used to buy online. So when they go to the work lives, they want to also to see this, what they do on their free time, or as individual consumers. They want these on their B2B buyer journeys. So self-service things, video-based chatbots, what we are doing, an interactive video, personalized to your information needs. This is the first one. B2B emulates the B2C. Second one, you need to mention AI. These AI generations are developing so fast that next we will see more and more products that actually bring value. So it's kind of the railroad, or the internet was the kind of the infrastructure. The AI is the infrastructure. Now you can get all around products and services and embed on those. For example, AI-generated video content is coming quite soon. We are, for example, totally video agnostic, content agnostic. We have AI-generated videos. People are using animations and real video. All right. But then localization, that's a big part. If you go globally, there's plenty of languages out there. So for instance, Silo AI in Europe, one of the big private AI labs, it's generating large language models for European languages. So you can localize your websites, but also video. You can automatically translate to all kinds of languages through auto captions. That's pretty much out there already. But then the voiceover, that it feels like proper language and you cannot recognize the difference, that's coming quite soon. So all of these will accelerate to move to video, for instance, because the video production cost, the localization cost, they will decrease. So I see these two biggest trends in the market currently.
Okay. What are some common misconceptions about working in the tech industry, especially from a business perspective?
I think that all introverted, nerdy guys, when I was a kid, we were very nerdy, but nowadays, college athlete could be a coder. It's not anymore like that. And then also, the tech industry, why I love working here, it's so diverse. You can be whoever you want to be, whatever sex, orientation, ethnicity. We are very laid back. It's informal. You can be in your sweatpants. It's very inclusive, but very diverse. This stereotype that we are all nerdy, introverted guys, it's just not true. Welcome to the tech industry. It's fun out here. There's awesome people from all kinds of backgrounds.
Do you think your profession changed your nature, your character? For example, if athlete comes to IT, can he become a nerd?
I think the definition of a nerd for me is that you are very overly enthusiastic and very passionate about a very particular topic. I think that's a nerd. Like, be a nerdy about sports. If you know every score and every goal that everybody made, I would just say that the nerd is basically a professional.
Okay, let me rephrase. I would say introvert.
Yeah. Can an introvert come up extrovert?
No, can extrovert become introvert when he comes to IT?
If we look from a psychological standpoint, what does this study say? Your personality consolidates latest when you hit 30. Your neuroplasticity is until 25 or so. So 25 to 30, actually who you are will be quite set in stone. But obviously we humans mirror our environment. And rightfully so, we should also, to be more effective communicators, we should adjust how we behave with the person we are working with, especially if you're a leader like I am. There are different kinds of people. I shouldn't be overly pushy with somebody who's introverted. I should give them more space. I shouldn't micromanage them. There are cultural differences. I've led teams in Asia. You need to micromanage them a little bit more. They actually want your boss. They feel important if the boss pays them attention. But then in the Nordic countries, we are very egalitarian. We don't want the hierarchy is very low. They don't want me to be there constantly breathing down their neck. So you need to adjust your communication. But I would say as a personality, that's just biology. It's set in stone basically after 25 to 30.
IT outsourcing is a major trend in tech industry. What are your thoughts on advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing tech functions?
If we start from that, the core business, the core product, you need to build an in-house team that are committed, that you can build a cohesive culture, because the culture is actually the one that is, in the end, the most important thing that comes even before strategy and everything else. Like, it's the culture you build. And the first 20 people basically set the culture. So if you're a very early stage company, you need to be careful where you move your culture. So then the hiring process, and you interview individual people, that you collect the core team that will set in stone the culture. It's a little bit like the same as with the personality, that by 25 you consolidate. This is a little bit the same, that by 20 you consolidate the culture. So I would be very mindful about the culture aspect. When it comes to outsourcing, obviously it brings flexibility. If you need skills that you don't have in-house fast, or you have a project that you may need to make, let's say, to one bigger client, but not necessarily to others, or yet you don't know it, will you need that particular React Native or something like that, whatever it is, your tech stack, then it makes sense. If you have a business line that is not yet consolidated, if you need to build an MVP, so basically you would build the MVP with outsourcing and see is there traction on that, and then see how the market reacts. And then after that, you would build an in-house team there. But kind of if it's not your core business, but you still need to test something, it could be. Overall, I think the flexibility aspect is the core thing in the IT outsourcing.
I agree with this point of view. How do you see the role of IT outsourcing evolving in the context of your industry future needs?
There are plenty of outsourcing opportunities. They cold contact you, and that's everybody needs to sell. But there are so many out. Many, I think, compete with price. But I would boil it down to, it comes down to trust, really. So what I've seen lately is that outsourcing companies are putting more emphasis on brand building and marketing because that builds trust. That it's no longer, let's say, some Indian company that is, we have the cheapest one and their website is all over the place, and looks cheap. It's more about, okay, does this look like a trustworthy partner, stable enough, and so. So emphasis on branding and marketing trust versus only price competition. That's, I see, one trend. But then also another trend I see is nearshoring. Let's say before we outsource to India and Asia, I see a lot of it that we outsource now to European companies outsourcing to other European outsourcing vendors. It's part of the reason is that the global prices have started to go closer together. So the gap isn't huge anymore. They're quite in the same ballpark. This accelerated even more after COVID because of this remote team. A skilled coder could work from anywhere in the world to a Silicon Valley company where salary levels are very high, or a European company or wherever. So naturally, because the talent pool is more accessible, the prices come down to the center. So again, it's more about the trust and the processes and this kind of relationship boils down to in the end.
Okay. As we wrap up our conversation, what advice would you give to business leaders considering IT outsourcing as a part of their strategy?
Find somebody you can trust and form long-term lasting relationships. Don't necessarily, obviously the price point is always important. We need to do budgets and be cost efficient, but don't split these sourcing companies against each other. And you need to, for example, to report your findings to the board or whatever, or to the CEO. Make sure you bring other aspects than price to the table. Maybe ask references, maybe see, has your network used this before? These type of things. I would say Southeast Europe is very good place to outsource. They have highly skilled people there, Ukrainian coders, for example, and they have this fighting spirit and motivation and to make a better future for themselves. I hope nobody gets mad, but in the rich Western, like Nordic countries, Western Europe, we have things a little bit too comfortably. We are not so work-oriented anymore. I wouldn't say we are lazy, but we are a little bit too comfortable. Eastern European countries, Southeast Europe, there is this kind of a hustle mentality that you want to your family and your nation and everything. So there's really good talent. And traditionally, the education system is hard, math, physics oriented. So they produce extraordinary engineers.
I would say they teach how to think and how to find the information. And the rest is done by people themselves because of motivation and enthusiasm. I think those are the key points. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I can see that. That's my experience. We've used outsourced and Eastern European a lot. So,
Elia, thanks for joining me today. It was a great conversation. I got some new information, and I'm sure I will use it within my team.
Thank you it was a really pleasure. I hope also the viewers enjoy what we had to discuss.
Definitely. If you enjoy our conversations and want to stay updated on future episodes, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you will not miss out on the latest insights and conversations from the Devico Breakfast Bar. See you in the next episode.